I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
And this is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where, oh no, we pulled the wrong lever. Because this week we watched Full Circle.
Written by Andrew Smith.
Directed by Peter Grimwade.
And aired in October and November of 1980.
Yet again, we have a writer who does nothing more for the actual televised show.
And I can see why, because I'm assuming most people hate this story.
Well,
you thought it was just mediocre. I kind of liked it, but yeah, I also kind of think it was just middle of the road.
Yeah, and I think that's something we'll talk more about at the end, because I think
we usually do.
I think my greatest criticism is something that we have in common, but we haven't really talked about it yet, even though we've been sitting here for a while, because we wanted to save it all for the recording. So, here we are, Full Circle, and Romana and the Doctor are going to Gallifrey.
Yep.
They dropped off
right
the guy.
Off the heels of the last story. Yes, they dropped off the unnamed Earthling, and they're headed to Gallifrey on urgent business.
Right.
We don't know what that is at this point, and we still don't know here at this point recording the episode. Because things take a turn for the not going to Gallifrey-ness stuff.
Yeah, this is the first serial in a while to actually start with the Doctor and Romana.
Yeah. For once.
In the TARDIS, let alone, with K9.
The Doctor mentions that he wonders whether or not they'll see Leela and Andrid.
And he mentions that
Still
K9
mad about that, by the way.
get to meet his twin.
So hey, name drop for Leela, my favorite.
I liked that.
Yeah. The name of my favorite companion in this story that introduces... Yeah, we'll get there.
No, but I liked the little name drop because it indicates that the show still exists within its larger continuity and they haven't kind of forgotten.
Yeah, they didn't retcon anything. Well, they didn't retcon Leela. We don't know if they retconned other aspects of the universe, like Feast of Stephen. But, yeah, then Romana gets kind of depressed and sulks off to her room.
Yeah, she kind of says that the Time Lords want her back. She doesn't want to go back anymore. She doesn't want to leave the Doctor.
And the Doctor kind of tries to cheer her up-ish.
He also mentions that she was really only there to help with the key to time anyway, so... But then, I guess, doesn't that sort of contradict Armageddon Factor? Because in Armageddon Factor it was revealed, or at least heavily hinted, that it wasn't actually the Time Lords that sent Romana, it was the White Guardian pretending to be the Time Lords.
Yeah, well, there are many questionable continuity errors in relation to the key to time and everything. But, yeah, you're right.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, maybe they just really need the Doctor to do something again, like they did in when Leela left. I don't remember what the serial was.
Invasion of Time.
Invasion of Time. Thank you. But yeah, so there's kind of a jolt of some sort. The TARDIS is traveling to Gallifrey, or the Doctor's made K9 pilot the TARDIS to Gallifrey.
What could possibly go wrong?
Turns out everything.
Yeah. So yeah, they enter. Well, we don't really know what they enter yet. They enter something.
Something goes wrong.
They look on the scanner and they're like, "Oh, it's Gallifrey. We're here. Nothing seems to be wrong." And they look outside and it's not Gallifrey.
Yeah, they kind of go outside and the Doctor's like, "Romana, this isn't Gallifrey."
They're in a forest.
Maybe Gallifrey doesn't have any forests, and that's how he knew.
Yeah, pretty sure it doesn't. Pretty sure it's just a wasteland.
Bombed out wasteland. Cut to...
Some people swimming in very sheer outfits. Wonder how that got through.
Look, it's JNT. Anything can get through at this point. They're kind of just picking anything and just trying to run with it till something works. I have a feeling that maybe the ratings have started to slip and they're kind of having an "oh shoot, we gotta do something" moment.
Like have people swimming nearly naked? Hey, that might work.
What's that old saying? Sex sells. Anyway, moving swiftly along, they come out of the water, and I guess it's supposed to be some sort of tribe or some sort of society
It seems to be based around fruit.
Yeah, that's a
Oddly
big
enough.
watermelon.
I guess it's their staple crop. Not sure why fruit would be your staple food, but because that seems very not filling and also not very nutritious. But whatever.
Well,
we're not here to judge their culture. We're just here to judge the episodes.
We're not here to judge their fruit-based culture.
No. It's not what we're here to do.
I don't even think it's actually a watermelon. I think prop-wise it's a watermelon, but I think in the cereal it's obviously something.
I thought it was supposed to be like some kind of squash. But hey, I don't know.
I thought it was a watermelon, but
Maybe it's another subspecies of, yeah. They're just...
okay.
God, that would be dark.
That took me a second. That'll only make sense to people who've seen the cereal. So, there's like a subsection of the people who, like, are outcasts, I guess. They have a name.
It's pretty much the kids who just decided they didn't want to live there anymore and ran away into the woods.
Yeah, they
had a name? I didn't remember their name.
The Outlaws. That was it.
Great name.
It's like antlers, but...
And outliers, but...
Yeah.
But not.
But not.
This scene also had pretty interesting music.
This whole serial had pretty interesting music.
Yeah, they continue this motif. There's like a little melody, and they continue that for the whole thing, which was nice. And this is composed by Patty King, male, surprisingly enough, who composes through Castrovalva.
Yeah, so the rest of the season and the first one of next season.
Looking forward to that. And he records some more after Castrovalva, sparingly.
Yeah, so Peter Howell takes a break. He does compose more music. I stumbled upon his website the other day, and he claims that all the music he wrote for the BBC, not including just Doctor, if you played it back to back, would take you 3 days to listen to the entire thing. Which is actually impressive when you consider that, like, if you lined up all of our podcast episodes, it's like maybe a week. So, yeah. I'm interested to see what Patty Russell's going to do.
Patty King,
sorry. Thinking of William Russell. What Patty King is going to do for the rest of the season. Because I think he has more of an emphasis on using a specific motif for different characters and items.
Well, most composers do, except apparently Dudley Simpson.
I mean, yeah, fair point. I guess I'm just saying more of a focus than we've previously had on the show.
Yeah.
Like Peter Howell did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So along comes this other kid who wants to join the Outliers, and this is ADDRIIICCCCC.
Played by Matthew Waterhouse.
Played, quote unquote. Because he didn't really
I'm going to talk
any
about that at the end.
acting.
But, yeah, ADDRIIICCCCC. I had heard some things about ADDRIIICCCCC before the serial. None too flattering. And I didn't realize they were this bad. To be honest, I didn't believe all of them. And,
It couldn't possibly be that bad, right?
That was my exact reaction. But wow.
Yeah, I spoiler, he's the next companion. I spoiled that he was going to join the Doctor and Romana before watching episode 3, and my reaction was just, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I knew that before going into the serial, actually. And I actually know another tiny tidbit about him that I'm not going to... Because it kind of spoils a minor piece of his character arc. But...
it's okay. I'm really probably not going to care about his character at all. But no, don't spoil it.
But yeah, when I first saw him on screen, I was like, this is the next companion? Wow. Really? Wow.
Watch us just end his run by saying he was our favorite companion. Hands down. No.
I would be surprised.
It's not going to happen.
I'll talk more about ADDRIIICCCCC at the end when we've explained some of the amazing things that happen in this serial. But he comes in and he has this blue star that apparently is like excellence in mathematics or something.
Yeah, and well, they question why he's fit to join the Outliers, and he's like, well, you guys pretty much don't do crap, and there's really no... No, he doesn't say that. He says that he has this badge for excellence in mathematics, and they're like, well, can you steal some fruit? He's like, sure I can.
Yeah.
But he goes to do that and gets caught.
Well, not so much caught as Decider, what's his name?
Draith
follows him and ends up getting killed because of him. So that's the first thing Adric does. We've just been introduced to Adric, and he leads immediately to the death of Decider Draith.
Maybe we should put him on the kill count.
Well,
that's questionable.
No, yeah, he wasn't really intentional like every other killing on the kill count.
Yeah. Well, we have unintentional kills on the count.
That's true. We did. We counted the macra for the Doctor and Ben, even though Ben did it and the Doctor just told him to do it.
Well, I still don't think we should count this one for whatever reason.
It just doesn't seem right because it was more of an accidental death than anything. Because the village. Well, mistfall is happening.
Yes,
is what I'm getting
mist has engulfed the little village/area. Mm-hmm. And Draith has wandered off into said mist and also into the swamp. That's how he dies. But apparently mistfall is something that occurs once every 40 generations. No, not 40 generations was how
40
long we thought they
generations
were
was
there.
Something else.
Yeah. It occurs whenever it occurs. Whenever it feels like occurring.
Perfect.
But it's dangerous, so they need to get back into their ship.
Yeah, or they think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
The Doctor at this point has been separated from Romana. Not intentionally. Well, actually, I think it is intentional. I think they split up to go find out where they are.
Yeah, the Doctor goes with K9, and as the mist comes in, K9 analyzes it and tells the Doctor that it's not dangerous.
Yeah, it's
so
totally
at this point,
readable.
you're like, okay, do they just think it's dangerous, or is it only dangerous to them, or what?
Yeah. And the Doctor meets Decider Draith. Decider Draith dies. But not before telling either Adric or the Doctor, we've come full circle!
A phrase that's still a mystery to me.
And me.
It was a mystery then, and it's a mystery now.
No idea. And then episode 1 ends with all these marshmen coming out of the water.
Yeah, it's the Sea Devils.
No, it is. You're right.
Or the Swampies. But no, the Swampies never did that.
No, the Swampies never had their the right stuff moment. Yeah, you know that if you ever see a movie where there's like a slow-mo walk of like the big ensemble cast towards the camera, that was popularized by The Right Stuff. So now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yep.
No. We're not real American heroes.
It's a bit difficult for me to be an American hero when I wasn't born, yeah. Right?
Yes.
You could be an American hero. You could run for office on a platform of becoming the next American hero.
Make America great again.
Topical.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I would even be a better okay, we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into that.
Try to keep politics off of this. If you want to see a political-based Dylan and Keon podcast,
then watch our Massacre episode, because it's not about Doctor Who.
I was going to say it's probably never going to happen, but I guess if there's enough public support, it could happen. Look, okay, back to the serial at hand.
Episode 2 starts with...
The Doctor runs into Adric, I think. Adric is like skinned his knee or something, running away from Draith.
Right, and he sees the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But he doesn't enter the TARDIS. He goes back to the cave where the Outliers have their little base.
Does he? No, I think he goes into the TARDIS because he gets healed.
Oh, yeah, he goes into the TARDIS, then he goes back to...
Well,
he meets Romana.
He meets Romana. Romana's like, oh, put this and heal your leg. And then the Doctor comes back. And they meet, and Adric's like, oh, yeah, he was chasing me. I was trying to steal some food. And the Doctor's like, okay. And he's like, okay, it was an accidental death. And the Doctor's like, okay, I believe you. It was...
Does he really do that? Does he try and make the excuse there?
It's difficult. It's difficult to tell based on Matthew Waterhouse.
So we didn't mention that we implied though that they're going to lock up the ship, obviously, so the mist doesn't get in.
Yeah, not the TARDIS. There's another ship.
Yeah, their ship, the
Starliner.
Yeah, the Starliner. What were they called? The Azraelians, something like that. Alzarians.
Alzarians. Yep.
They're going to lock their ship so the mist doesn't get in, but they left the Outliers outside because they have very strict policies and a new decider has been put in charge now that Draith is dead, or they decide to put him in charge once Draith doesn't show up.
Yeah, because they always need to have 3 for some reason.
Yeah, so very hardcore there, no waiting around for anyone, they just close the doors.
Yeah, well, the one guy who becomes the new decider, I don't remember his name, but he kind of screams at them for not letting his daughter make it to the ship. His daughter's out there. It's one of the outlaws, actually.
Right.
But, so Adric gets all healed up, and he's going out. It's like, okay, I gotta go, see what happened to all the people, if they got into the ship or not. And Romana gives him a tracking device to get back to the TARDIS.
Which I guess works both ways? Right? Because, I don't know. But
it gets him to the TARDIS somehow, even though all it does is go beep, beep, beep.
It's, well, whatever. He makes his way back to the cave, and the Outliers think the mist is going to kill them. So they decide that they want to hijack the TARDIS.
Yeah, well, Adric kind of lets it slip that he got into this TARDIS and that's how he got healed. And then he also tells them, oh yeah, this is a tracking device. And then they're like, let's go hijack the TARDIS. And then Adric's like, I don't remember where it is.
One of them just points to the tracking device. He's like, but there's no room inside. It's really small.
And they're like, but you said it was bigger on the inside.
Except he actually says it more poorly acted than what I just did, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, we're not exactly the best actors.
As you know, if you've listened to our 3 Doctors episode.
Hey, just wait till we get to the 5 Doctors. We're going to go off the walls on that one. But, so they decide to go hijack the TARDIS, so they all get in, and Romana's like, Adric, and Adric's just like, I didn't want them to come.
Meanwhile, we get this scene with K9 rolling through the jungle with this 80s-tastic music playing. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's like a pilot for the pilot of Sarah Jane.
Man, I kind of want a K9 Rambo. He is as unstoppable as Sylvester Stallone. God.
You know what would have been a good April Fool's joke? Would have been them announcing that Sylvester Stallone is going to be the new voice of K9.
It's April Fool's Day, the day we're recording this, by the way. So what happens next?
So, well, the Doctor goes back to the TARDIS. The TARDIS gets carried away by something. They don't really know by what. They kind of all start going to side. The thing is that Romana kind of flips a switch, and then everyone starts, jumbling from side to side. And at first you're like, oh, did Romana, whoop-de-wop them?
God.
Did Romana, confuse them, and then she's gonna, There's also a scene where someone drops a knife and Romana pulls it on him, but then gets it back. Yeah,
that was kind of awesome.
But is she gonna regain control of the TARDIS? And she also says I don't know what I did. But then they revealed that she didn't do anything. And I was confused. Yeah. I was like, what?
They show up in another location, but apparently...
In the cave.
Oh, that was supposed to be in the cave?
Yeah.
Huh.
They show up in the cave.
Interesting.
Well, the scanner's still not working because they don't have a thing. At this point, Romana and the Doctor figured out that they're not on Gallifrey. Right. They're not even in regular space.
Yeah, they've deduced that they're in a negative space of some sort. But that was really the cave? They were living in a spider-infested cave?
Yes.
Seems legit. Right, because right as soon as they step out, there's some spider eggs, actually.
No, you forgot the best line. We could just look out the door.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, continue.
There's some spider eggs, I guess, that hatch, and they're all afraid, and Romana's like, what? It's only spiders. And then, 5 seconds later, she says the same line. What? It's only spiders.
And then one jumps on her face and bites her. We also forgot to mention that K9 at this point went out the TARDIS because he reconvened with Romana. And he goes out of the TARDIS.
And gets beheaded!
By the Marshman. At this point, I was like, okay, so J&T promised John Leeson they're killing off K9. In just every serial, they're gonna, like, fake kill off K9 until they actually write him out. I mean, they didn't in Meglos, but, like, at this point, that's what it feels like they're doing.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to become some sort of running joke.
I guess we'll see next week.
And I honestly thought Romana was going to go out this serial, with her little monologue at the beginning. So I was like, are they really, at this point, I was like, are they really ditching Romana and killing K9 here? But no, neither of those things happens. But, yeah, that's where episode 2 ends. And we
get episode 3.
We get into episode 3. No, episode 2 actually ends with the TARDIS dematerializing because Adric pulls the wrong lever.
No, yeah, one of them closes the door, and then Adric's like, no, Romana's out there, open the door again.
Apparently, we don't care, Adric.
Apparently he's become super attached to Romana and the Doctor already, even though he's known them for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, in their 5 minutes of knowing each other.
And he's like, hang on, wait, I gotta get into it. I think I pulled the wrong lever.
And then the TARDIS dematerializes, and I don't know, really odd motion or odd little action here from Lalla Ward, where she just reaches towards the TARDIS awkwardly.
Lalla Ward is kind of off her game in that scene specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, not the whole serial, 'cause she was pretty good in the whole serial, but that scene specifically, I feel like she was just kind of off her game a bit.
Yeah, it's a little odd. But we also did not mention all the political intrigue going on the ship. Or have we gotten that yet? I think we've gotten a little bit of it.
Just a touch. I think it really shows up in episode 3 when the Doctor gets to the ship. Because the Doctor goes looking for the TARDIS, and it's not there, and the Doctor's like, what?
So he decides to go to the ship, which seems to be the only other inhabited place in the area.
Yeah, I think he actually gets to the ship in episode 2, because I think my note about him using the sonic screwdriver to open the door is in episode 2.
Huh, I actually didn't notice him using it.
Yeah, he pulls it out. Well, he knocks. Nothing happens. So he pulls it out and uses it on the little voice panel. Nothing happens for a moment. Then it opens. He's like, okay, cool.
Right, they have those little wheels to open the doors, too. It's kind of strange.
It's like a submarine. You close the door and you wheel the bulkhead.
Seems very inefficient.
It's good for submarines because you can seal off flooded components and kind of mitigate the damage, I guess. But it seems really impractical for a starliner.
Yeah.
Because, like, by the time you can get there to seal off the decompressed area, you're probably dead.
So the people on the Starliner obviously don't want the Marshmen in the ship because they're supposedly dangerous.
The Doctor lets one in, accidentally. For some reason, he doesn't close the door behind him, but then later when he comes back, it's like, oh yeah, I left the door open.
So one gets in. It's a child. Not that it looks any different than the adults, but it's a child. It's in the dialogue, so there you go. It's the people are afraid of it and defensive against it and aggressive towards it.
Yeah, and the Doctor...
But it's pretty much just afraid, and I felt really bad for it in this scene where it looked really scared. The Doctor mentions as much.
Good physical acting from random generic guy under the Marshman mask.
He should have been the new companion. I want a Marshman companion.
So...
The Doctor tries to convince them not to capture the Marshman, but they just knock him out and do it anyway.
Well, they knock the Doctor out.
Yeah, they knock the Doctor out and do it anyway. They actually don't knock out the Marshman. They just capture him in this net, which made me feel even more bad.
Yeah, and then the Doctor gets put on trial of some sort.
Trial of a Time Lord? No.
You realize that if every episode where that happened was named, that would have 20 Trial of a Time Lords.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the third time he's been put on trial, probably. One of which was with the Time Lords. There's probably another instance, and then there's this, and then there's later when he's the Sixth Doctor, and then there's probably even more later.
Yeah.
But they don't really get anywhere with it because the Doctor clearly is more intelligent than all of those scientists, and they realize they need him on their side to do anything.
Right. They want to experiment on the Marshman, and the Doctor agrees with some stipulation that I forgot. I forgot what he says. There's some sort of...
They're not going to harm the Marshman, I think, or something like that.
Or they weren't going to lobotomize him, which I think that's what they ended up wanting to do. But the people that the Doctor goes on trial before are the three deciders, and they're I guess the first decider knows some sort of secret about the ship's log files, and the other two don't. I think that's just a first decider exclusive
First decider exclusive.
But he has to keep it a secret, and it seems like the other two really want to know, and the scientist wants to know too. The scientist's whole thing, Dexter, actually. I remember that because it was like Dexter's lab, the cartoon. But Dexter's whole deal is that he wants to know the secret of the logs so that he can sort of marry that with his scientific quote unquote prowess to better understand everything that's going on. Because as all this is going on, the general population is just trying to get the ship in working order to get it off the ground, or so they think.
Yeah, and at this point, the Doctor kind of makes a break for it, I guess, and he's trying to get his ship back, the TARDIS, and he gets to the entrance, and they corner him, and all of a sudden the TARDIS materializes, like, oh, by golly, it's Romana.
And then third decider's daughter walks out.
And the Doctor's like, well, what?
I like the look on Tom's face here as the Outlers walk out instead of Romana. He's just like, what? Who are you?
He's like, where's Romana? And he goes back in, and Adric's like, I'm sorry, Romana's like in a cave somewhere. And the Doctor's like, these short trips don't usually work. But he successfully gets the TARDIS back to the cave, and at this point, Romana's kind of knocked out, and the Doctor comes out, and K9 is in pieces, and he's like, K9.
So he brings both of them back into the TARDIS, and meanwhile, Romana's got some sick face tats. I actually really liked the effect they used on that marking. It looked really cool.
The
blue, green, white.
Translucent, I'm blanking on how to describe it. It like shifts with the light, I guess.
Guess so. I thought it looked fairly cool.
It was pretty good. Pretty good.
But yeah, she's still out cold, so they put her back in her room.
They get pretty innovative when you don't have a lot of budget to work with. But yeah, they put her in the back room, and the Doctor's gonna try and investigate what happened to her. So he goes back to the Starliner because they have like the microscopes and stuff. I guess he doesn't have that on his infinite TARDIS.
Maybe you just can't find them.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering at this point why the Doctor didn't just bail. He's got the TARDIS, he's got Romana.
Well, there's obviously a problem to solve on the Starliner.
I mean, obviously he's going back because he's taking the moral high ground, which he should.
And Adric's there, so I mean, probably be best not to bring him along for story-related reasons, and also for
character-related reasons.
Yes,
he seems. Actually, I'll talk about that at the end because it makes more sense at the end.
Well, out of canon related reasons. Is what I'm getting at. His poor acting. So if I needed to spell it out.
The Doctor goes back.
And they're lobotomizing the Marshman.
Yeah, this is actually really uncomfortable. Well, for me at least.
They try to, because as soon as the needle gets close to, or the scalpel or whatever it is he's using gets close to the Marshman, it just freaks out and starts destroying everything. And kills Dexter. Yeah,
this is actually a really messed up situation if you think about it. They're about to lobotomize this kid, and they make it more morbid than it would have otherwise been. It's pretty morbid already, but they make it more morbid by deciding to transmit the lobotomization to the entire population on the Starliner for some reason.
Yeah.
But, I don't even know what to say about it, to be honest, except that I was actually kind of glad that the Marshmen revolted.
Bread and circus, some free entertainment there. Yeah, no, I was kind of on the Marshman side of all this. Yeah. Essentially.
And obviously the Doctor
is... contrary to popular belief, I'm not a terrible person. No, I'm just kidding.
I never really assumed you were a terrible person.
Well, thanks.
But I think what made it more distressing, I guess, for the audience
All right, that was bad.
That was bad. Anyway, what made it like more distressing for the audience, I think, was the doctor kind of screaming at them to stop, and that it wasn't right for them to do this.
Well, I mean,
Which
it's
it's
obviously
not.
not right.
It's obviously not. I think just the fact that the doctor is so passionate about the fact that they must not lobotomize this thing, this creature.
Were they really lobotomizing him? I think we just decided that they're lobotomizing him.
No, they were going to take tissue samples from him.
From his brain?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess they were lobotomizing him. Huh. Thought I just made that up for a second.
No, because I already took tissue samples from like his arm, and the doctor saw that. It's like, oh, I thought you weren't going to take tissue samples, because I think that was his criteria earlier.
Well, there was actually one sort of funny little element to this scene, is that Dexter actually gets strangled by the Marshman. That's how he dies. But it looks like, I don't know, I guess they didn't time it right, because the guy who played the Marshman like put his hands out, it looked like, before, and then like it looked like Dexter just ran into his outstretched hands to be strangled. I don't know, it looked kind of weird to me. Yeah, this story didn't really have the best actors. Not just Adric, I mean, across the board is kind of subpar.
It's you can't really fault the BBC for that, because they kind of just get whoever they can take at this point.
I guess. I mean,
unless it's a big role.
You can fault them for Adric, because, I mean, he's a
That's true, because he's going to be the new companion, yeah.
He's pretty bad. He's the worst offender,
I'm curious to look into why J&T thought there would need to be a new companion. I have a feeling it's because Romana and K9 are leaving soon.
Yeah.
And he probably wanted to introduce Adric before they leave so that the audience can get accustomed to them a bit. So, like, Adric doesn't have to be the center focus of the companions for the next couple weeks.
God, imagine a Dr. Adric only serial. I mean, I'm hoping there's another companion after Romana and K9 leave.
Hopefully, but, you know, in all likelihood, it's probably just going to be the Doctor and Adric. But we'll see. Could be wrong. But I'm curious to know what made them choose Matthew Waterhouse. I don't think he was known for anything before this.
I looked him up. It said his, the little description there, I guess, was from Wikipedia. Right on the first results of Google were just he's most well known for his role on Doctor Who. So,
all right. So then it was probably this is what made him big. Although whether it should have is another question.
Yeah, big, quote unquote. I mean, whatever.
But anyway, back to the serial.
How does 3 end?
3 ends with Romana letting in the Marshman to the ship.
Yeah. Apparently the spider bite mind controlled her.
Yeah. The Doctor has a dead spider in the TARDIS, by the way.
And the Doctor reveals that the ship is ready to take off whenever they want.
Yeah.
Its control panel, which apparently reveals that it's ready to fly, is hidden behind some books. I wonder why nobody noticed that before. I mean, you'd think they would notice that control panel there.
Well, I think the Deciders knew, or at least the first Decider knew.
Yeah, the Deciders definitely, well, yeah, like you said, at least the first Decider knew.
Well, I think it's outright stated that they're intentionally kind of hiding that fact from the people.
Yeah, no, they are. That's a main point there. They're hiding it.
I don't
know. Because nobody knows how to fly the ship.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I don't know why, like a regular person didn't just go take a book and go, hey, what's this control panel?
They have the manual for how to fly the ship, as is revealed at the end of the story. But I guess the bigger reveal later is why they didn't take off. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know
I'll
so many things about this series.
I liked the plot twists here. I thought they were pretty cool, and there was a lot of cool concepts, but a lot of it was very ambiguous, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But they went about it here in kind of a backwards way. Like, I felt like they should have explained, or they should have revealed some things that they reveal earlier, and vice versa. Maybe that would have worked. I'm not sure. Although I didn't think they were bad plot twists or anything.
Yeah.
I liked them.
But yeah, Romana lets in the Marshman, and episode 4 begins in chaos. Marshmen are attacking. People are dying. The Doctor is frantically in the lab with the Outlaws and Adric trying to find a solution to drive away these Marshmen peacefully, or at least non-lethally. And they kind
of brings me back to the moon base with that concoction they whip up.
We've seen so many serials at this point that nearly every scene is going to take us back to something else.
Nothing's original anymore.
And the Doctor is also investigating kind of the tissue sample, both from Romana's sick cats and the Marshmen and the spider itself and the people on the Starliner.
Yeah.
And he kind of finds out they're all the same.
Yeah. So make of that what you will.
Well,
for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, because the Doctor reveals what it means later.
They create this. I don't know if they created it. Was it just straight up oxygen?
I think it was just oxygen tanks.
They have some oxygen tanks. Apparently, the Marshmen don't like that because apparently they can adapt super fast. The Doctor also mentions, I don't know if it's now or later, but we can explain it now, that the 40 generations that they've supposedly been on, God, I already forgot what it's called, the planet that they're on, because we didn't explain their backstory. Apparently they came from a planet called Pterodon
to Alzarius.
Because Pterodon was made uninhabitable by something or the other. Mm-hmm. And they've always planned for generation upon generation to go back to Pterodon one day. That was the main goal of their entire population, was to get the ship working again and go back to Pterodon. But the Doctor reveals, well, actually Ramon reveals a little later, but like I said, we can say it now, that they've actually been there for far longer than they thought they have.
Yeah.
And when First Decider dies, which is like now, he reveals that they never actually came from Pterodon.
Yeah, he reveals that they were always on Alzarius. The Starliner thing was all just a ruse. It's just the government playing tricks on his people, I guess.
See, I didn't get what the heck the Starliner was supposed to be, but I read on the wiki that, take this with a grain of salt, because, I mean, anyone can edit the wiki, I suppose, but the Starliner was the actual Pterodonians who came to Alzarius, and then the Marshmen, they were killed by the Marshmen, and like a specific group of the Marshmen evolved into the Alzarian human-like subspecies.
It's possible that's just fan conjecture, or it might be from the sequel story to this, also written by the same person. It's an audio drama that actually just came out last year.
So bringing it back to Chris Boucher style sequel-ish things.
It might be from that, might just be fan conjecture, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
Maybe it's from this and we didn't notice it. I don't know.
Maybe.
You'd think either one of us would have noticed it, but hey, maybe we didn't.
But yeah, so the Doctor at this point, well, somehow he cures Romana.
Yeah, how the heck did he cure Romana?
I don't really remember.
I just watched this too.
He makes some sort of serum, and it just works.
Alrighty then.
They drive out the Marshmen using the oxygen, and then the Decider that's left asks the Doctor to teach him how to pilot the ship so they can go back to Pterodon, and the Doctor's like, well, first off, you guys were evolved from the Marshmen. Just gonna drop that truth bomb right now.
And the spiders.
And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't know how it works either, but it did. And then he explains how to pilot the ship, which is in the manual, like I think Keon mentioned earlier, that just exists on the ship for some reason. And then...
I wonder how they managed to... Well, the Doctor reads it, but maybe that's why they didn't pilot the ship, because they couldn't read the Pterodonian writing, which is apparently English. Did you notice that English sign on the wall? I mean, obviously, I know they're all speaking English, and for our sake, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like they could have just made up some random characters and slapped them on the wall. It's kind of
I mean, they did that
disillusioning, if that's even a word, to have the English sign there on the wall.
They've made up characters before. They did it for the something of the Daleks, the one with the Exelons in the city where there was all those fake characters on the wall.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm sure there's some fan theory out there like Pterodonians are humans.
There always is a fan theory out there.
But yeah, more likely was just for ease of production, but there you go.
Anyway, at this point, Adric has snuck into the TARDIS and dropped off an image translator, which the Doctor and Amon have been looking for the whole serial, because it would translate the positive space coordinates of N space, which is normal space, into the negative coordinates of E space, which I know we got a word for it, but I don't remember what it was.
Exospace time continuum, apparently.
Oh, so exospace.
Exospace.
Then.
Well, yeah, exospace time continuum. I just noted down was I guess what they traveled through to get to E-space, which
Well, they
is
traveled to a CVE.
Oh, so then what the heck is exospace time continuum that I wrote down?
That's probably the name, but they just shortened it to E-space, exospace.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't get the time continuum part, but guess it makes sense. It's a space. It's another space-time
CVE is
continuum.
a charged vacuum emboitment.
Seems legit. Yeah, exospace. So this is the first of the E-space trilogy, which obviously means the next two take place
set
in
in
E-space as well.
Minor spoiler, I guess.
I'm assuming that after they get out of E-space, they'll arrive at Gallifrey.
Who knows? Maybe the Doctor never answers that call. I mean, he's done it before. But yeah, so Adric sneaks in, drops off the visualizer translator thing, and then Romana and the Doctor go in, and they're like, "Hey, it works, but Adric stole this. I don't know if we should be okay with using this."
They're just like, yeah, whatever. Let's just leave.
And then they leave. I guess I don't remember actually seeing confirmation that Adric stayed in the TARDIS after dropping off the visualizer.
No, there really wasn't. There was no indication here that he was going to join them.
Yeah.
So, spoiler on our
Yeah.
part. I guess we shouldn't have known that until next week, really. But, oh well. I don't really care.
Neither do I.
Oh, we didn't mention the part where the Doctor tells them that he's not going to help them pilot the ship. And they're like, wait, we need your help. And he's like, oh, just press the green button.
Well, because I think I think he didn't want to stay behind and pilot the ship, was why he said that. So.
Yeah, of course.
And then they watch it take off from the TARDIS, and then that begs the question: where are they going? Are they actually going to Pterodon, even though they've never come from there and don't actually know what's on that planet? Could be worse than the Marshmen, for all they know.
I mean, I thought it was just, not even real. That's why I said take that little anecdote from the wiki with a grain of salt, because I was like, is Pterodon even real? Or is it just part of it? Yeah, I don't know. They're going somewhere. Even though the mist isn't dangerous, and that was actually the government fabrication. It was the mist.
There was a lot of government fabrication in this story, and I'm pretty certain that was all intentional.
Yeah, well...
Pretty sure he was trying to make a political point there.
Yeah, well... don't know why they didn't just stay unless they didn't want to clash with the Marshmen anymore.
There's a lot of... I don't know why they didn't blank in this serial.
We still don't know why it's called Full Circle.
It's because we've come full circle.
We still don't know why he said that. There was that little hallway loop thing that also never got expanded upon. Where they went like, full circle. Maybe they just thought of the title before writing this, and they're like, "Wait, we never incorporated the title." Well, the working title was Planet. The Planet That Slept. That's kind of almost worse than Full Circle. Because how did the planet sleep? That makes almost less sense.
It's just a disaster all around on that front.
Yeah, I mean, like we both mentioned already, I don't think we thought this entire story was a disaster.
No.
It had its good points. It also had its bad points, so
I think it's pretty middle of the road. This is probably a good time to get into this actually, and then we'll talk about Adric.
Yeah.
Personally for me, I don't know. It was interesting, but I felt like it was really disjointed, and that kind of turned me off to this serial.
Disjointed
like more disjointed than before. It felt like there was two stories here that each could have been fleshed out better, because there was the second two serials were the more like political second two episodes, sorry, were the more political intrigue. Romana's being mind controlled by the enemy. They could be fleshed out into its own serial. And then the first two episodes were kind of like, there's a tribe on this planet who believes that mistfall is bad, but it's not actually.
Well, I kind of like that because, I mean, I love Armageddon Factor, and, one of the reasons for that was that I just like the sheer amount of plot points in the story, and they kind of had that here too, but I just didn't like... I liked the plot twists, but I didn't like how they went about them, if that makes much sense.
Well, that's
I did like how this serial kind of kept up the mystery and kept you guessing into the fourth episode, but they kind of just... My usual complaint is they reveal the mystery too early in most stories, but here I felt like kind of revealed it too late and didn't really have time to do anything with it.
Well, I mean, I got that feeling too. It was like they were dropping all these things in episode 4 where it was like, if you had said these in episode 3, maybe I would be a lot more interested to see where episode 4 was going to go.
But on the other hand, you might have an episode, a drawn out episode 4 that's just padding in a, hypothetically. Obviously, I don't know what you're saying could work, but
well, I mean, I think it comes down to, for me at least, the reason why I didn't think the serial was as good as pretty much every serial we've had since the beginning of season 17. Not to say the serial is bad. I'm placing it firmly in the middle of the road. Is that it had these two stories and then it didn't really mesh them together. They could have been meshed together really well, I think.
I can see that. I can see where you're coming from there.
It just felt like the pacing was a little bit off. The reveals were kind of in weird places.
Yeah, they did spend a lot of time stealing fruit and not a lot of time at the end of episode 4.
Yeah.
But another reason to dislike this serial, the bad acting.
Yeah,
on many actors' parts, but mostly the main offender here is ADDRIIICCCCC, played by
Matthew
Waterhouse.
I believe I'm not saying that incorrectly. I'm like 90% certain, but I'm going to double check now because I don't want to like misattribute.
It's okay. We have episode notes now, which
Matthew
you can
Waterhouse.
check out on the website or on the YouTube description.
Yeah, Matthew Waterhouse. So he's a companion now.
I really think we're not going to like him at all.
I don't think a lot of people do like ADDRIIICCCCC. Because that's what I had heard before going into this, was that not a lot of people liked ADDRIIICCCCC. Because apparently, I guess he was just a grating character. I don't really know. We've only seen one serial of him.
I think the acting has a lot to do with it. And he's just really not a likable kid.
That was my main complaint, was that they set him up immediately as this not really this likable guy.
Yeah.
Because not only is he stealing fruit, he also leads these kids to the TARDIS, and then they take over the TARDIS, and he shows barely any remorse about that. Like, they're about to kill Romana, and
makes excuses, and maybe that'll tie into his character development, but I don't think so. I'm just going to throw it out there right now that I think he's going to leave at the end of this season. I don't think he's going to continue into the 5th Doctor.
Well, I could comment on that, but I'm not going to.
All right. Because this season is one story longer than usual.
That thing I said earlier, that minor plot point about his character development, actually would spoil whether or not he leaves at the end of the season. That's why I haven't said it yet.
All right.
But I think my main complaint about his acting specifically, I think there is a character in there that could be pretty decent if the acting was better, is that there's just no enthusiasm from Matthew Waterhouse. Like, we've seen Mary Tam and Tom Baker not act a lot, but at least they bring enthusiasm to the role, right?
Well, they're both good actors, in my opinion. Tom, obviously, Lala Ward is a little more debatable, but I like her. But so when they're not caring mode is sort of just them being funny and fun to watch.
Yeah, but it's like they're having fun with it.
Waterhouse's not caring mode is him not acting well. Or maybe that is his caring mode. I would assume it is. He's a kid and he's on this show, so you'd assume he'd want to do a good job. But he's really not a good actor.
Is he actually a kid when he's acting in this series?
He looks pretty young to me.
How old would he? Hang on, we're gonna look this up. Matthew Waterhouse.
Thanks for not having his date of birth wiki.
Don't worry, we can use IMDb. It was born in 1961, so he was like about 20.
Huh. Wow, looks pretty young. But anyway.
Because we're in 1980, right? 1981? Yeah. So he's like 1920. So he's like our age.
Yeah, he's like Lala Ward levels of looking young. Wow.
I don't know. I guess it's just like Tom and Lala, when they're not acting, or at least having fun with the role, right? Whereas it's like Matthew Waterhouse just isn't having fun with it. And maybe that's how they told him to play it. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm curious to know why they chose Matthew Waterhouse and what kind of J&T's vision for the character was when he envisioned it with Bidmead, I guess. But I don't know. It seems
to me like he's going to break the Dr. Romana canine dynamic, which I like.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Possibly.
We didn't. The thing is, we can't really judge that right now because they wrote out K9 for 2 episodes of this serial. You know, I guess.
Canine to a lesser extent. The Dr. Romana dynamic that I like.
Yeah.
Dr. Romana 2 specifically.
But like I said, they're probably just trying to introduce Adric to us. They're like, this is who's taking over the companion role. And we're just sitting here like, no. You know, I guess we'll see in the coming weeks.
Yes.
What's going to happen with Adric.
As we wind the 4th Doctor down.
I'm actually a bit sad to see this era go.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be saying that, to be honest.
I have a lot to say about this era, which I'm going to save until...
I think we both do. It's been a long era, and there's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of things happening. There's been a lot of disagreements on the show. The retrospective will certainly be interesting.
And long.
Yes, definitely. Other than that, you can email us at thedoctor@decorativevegetable.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters. Your thoughts on Adric. Please, actually do send us your thoughts on Adric, because now I'm curious. But specifically contain it to this story. Check us out on YouTube at Trust Your Doctor. Check us out on iTunes at Trust Your Doctor. Leave a rating if you liked the show. And tell your friends about us.
Check us out also on Facebook, Trust Your Doctor, and like us on Facebook, and also check us out on Twitter, TUID Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. Also, we've started a weekly Doctor Who poll, so check that out. Oh, it's on our Twitter.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, which you might not, because I didn't say that until now, but now you know.
We said it last week.
Yes, we said it last week, so go vote in that, check it out. It's kind of just a fun little thing. And next time, we watch State of Decay. But until then, the end.